Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome to Chat with Nat with me, Natasha. My friends call me Nat, so you can too. I've got here a very, very special guest, Mr. Andrew Mthunzi. You know what? I should have asked. Are you Mr.? Because I know you're doing your PhD, so I should have asked what your title is before I just assume that you are Mr. Andrew Mthunzi. We've got Mr. Andrew Mthunzi, who is many things, and he'll tell us what he does. But one of the things is he's an author. He's got a book that has come out called Let's Have a Conversation. So we are going to have a conversation. So welcome, Andrew.
Thank you for having me. I think the DR comes next year.
Yeah.
So you can still call me. Yeah.
We can still call you Mr. Andrew. No, that's good. So how's that going? Like, how's the PhD going?
It's going well.
Yeah.
It's tiring, but I think the end goal, once you keep your eyes on the goal, and the real deal is the missus said she wants it to be married to a doctor. So it's like, okay, let me get that. And still working to get it. And then once I get it, she has an author now. So I think
we're getting there, but she still wants the doctor.
She still wants the doctor.
Oh, that is amazing. I asked that because one of my aunts is doing her PhD. Mm-hmm. And she works as well, and she's doing her, and I see sort of firsthand how taxing it is and just how much work goes into it. Yeah. So I guess with you sort of being an author, having your book out, having a family, how do you juggle the time to do your studies, do your research here, write a book, family, work? How do you find the time?
I think we have to respect the beat of the acknowledgements, because what you go through affects a lot of things. So for instance, you find that you are waking up in the morning, early hours of the morning, to do your work, and you are having to dress up, get dressed, and go to work.
Yeah.
And then you come back at home, you eat, and because you've woken up at 4 or whatsoever, you are tired to a point that by say 10 o'clock you're already falling asleep. But she's your wife. She needs to experience that. So maybe it's not enough as well to include, to say, thank you, my wife, for all of this. Well, it takes a lot of time, and sometimes finances, and sometimes experience you are supposed to have with your wife, and you're supposed to have with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's an investment, so that in future you can have the title. She can also say, "I'm Dr. Mrs." But let's get into the book. So let's have a conversation. I like the fact that you say, "I come in peace." As soon as I saw that, I think we had an email exchange. I said, "Oh, I've received your book. I've seen the I come in peace." And you go through a number of themes in this book. You talk about identity, relationships, finances, religion, all sorts. And to me, it kind of read like your, almost like a personal manifesto, as it were. I don't know if that would be the right term, or like your personal philosophy. I mean, is that what this is? Like, how would you describe the book to someone who asked you, like, what is this book about?
For me, this book is a book that you read, because if you look at the cover, you see that the Andrew on the cover is smiling. So it's like someone who is coming to tell you his perspective to life with a smile. So I'm not fighting, but I come in peace. Yes. So it's at least, come, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
And let's talk about things that you, because I see identity, relationships, religion. I look at it from a point of a belief system and things that people perceive as what's the norm, and yet the reality may be different.
Right.
And then there's some poetry in there. Then there is the how I view finance as in, so to say, and then I make a conclusion to say what I've said is not the absolute. It's the beginning of an ongoing conversation. So the idea of this book is for you to read. You may disagree with certain things.
Yeah.
You may agree with certain things. But the idea is for us to submerge our ideas and eventually establish something we can commit to, so to say, because we all somehow need to conclude certain conversations. But then, like with any conversation, sometimes the conclusion can be the next idea that takes you to something. So with that, my hope is that anyone who reads it sort of then audits himself using that framework to then say that Andrew is saying this. How can that, in relation to what I'm doing, how can I use his ideas and incorporate it to my own way of living? Be it it's something that works or something that didn't work. But sometimes certain ideas in there are new to certain people. And once you audit yourself by just reading that book, you are in a different state.
Right.
And then what then you need is, ideally, I'm hoping that people buy this, buy 2 books for you and your wife.
Right.
And then you both read, or you can use the same book to read. And then have a conversation about what you've read. And then discuss and say, well, I think where he talks about identity on this basis, it works, it doesn't work. Or what do I know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's how a conversation starts with 2 people sometimes. And then hopefully on the 3rd phase, you find yourself in a group of people having a conversation, not necessarily about this book, but some of the ideas from this book. Then the snowball effect could build on something that, could make a difference and change the world to a better place.
No. I really like that. And I'm just gonna take a step back a little bit, right? And just ask. I think you've alluded to the fact that you're a family man. You're studying. Just a little bit about like who you are. Right. If there's anything maybe that we haven't touched on, like who is future Dr. Andrew Mthunzi? I guess just a little bit about you are. Then I want to then talk about the process of this book. But yeah.
Okay. Andrew is I think I highlighted there, is the son of Cornelius James Mthunzi. And I'm James the Third, I think. And then I'm a son also of Priscilla Sibanda. And I grew up in Zimbabwe, 16 years of my life. And primary school, I went to a private school. And then secondary school, I went to a mission school. So, and then I came over here.
Okay.
So I think they didn't, half plus years here, half in Zimbabwe. So I'm pretty much a Zimbabwean with a British passport. And then I pursued education while here and had a first degree, had a whole 10 years with no school, and then went back to school, and then now I'm still in school.
Okay.
Pursuing a PhD, and through the experience doing a master's and now doing a PhD, it's you get these ideas because you find yourself in different spaces where it's like, okay, this is the kind of conversation people are having.
Yeah.
So to say, the working title of this book was My Sentiments.
Okay.
But then I sort of thought to myself, like, who are you for us to buy something titled Your Sentiments? Like, we need to know you first.
Okay.
Then I had to change it to let's have a conversation, because I thought, well, it doesn't put me in a space where there's a question mark.
Okay.
And then so that's how it came to be. Let's have a conversation. So the book itself, I sort of started writing it because I was a reader. Like, I used to like read books and all sorts. Then you read books and you question some of the ideas from, and then eventually it grows to ideas. And then I started to think, maybe let me start putting down these ideas and see where it takes me. And then those ideas became 2-3 pages.
Okay.
And then I started to wonder how you start to try to find out how long should be a book have, and then you realize, like, I got in touch with someone, and then they said, books usually the minimum is 24,000. Then you realize, I only got 3,000, and then
and that's 24,000 words
minimum.
Okay.
For book,
okay,
and then the conversation starts to grow to, okay, fine. I acknowledge that I sent what I had to my cousin who's a doctor.
Okay.
And then and then he said, maybe consider structuring it this way.
Right.
And then structuring this way. So then from then my ideas were filling in the gaps of the sort of framework.
Yeah.
And then from then it started to make sense, and then and then I went back to, it's published by the Vikings publishers. Right. So I went back to my guy to say, listen, I think I'm ready to get this out. And then when that conversation came up, there's the whole different packages to say, if you want it this way, you want it this way, you want it this way. And then I think, and then they've got a distribution, what's it called? Their distribution.
Right, yeah.
So what then happened was, I sent them the manuscript. They send it to an editor. The editor does what the editor does. And, they send you back what the editor's thoughts were, and then there is the copy that shows what was removed and what was... so they removed some of the stuff, and, the conversation was, some of the stuff was a bit... it could limit the reach.
Okay.
So it's okay, but it's every time it had been difficult for me to actually open that book, because I was in a position to say I will read, and I will find things missing,
right,
and it's going to pain me, because ideally you are creating something great, and then once it's mellowed down, or once it's it feels like it's not what I initially started. But then what we forget is that collaboration is actually ideal because as Andrew, you're not Andrew without other people. So the end product is Andrew, but there's a touch of somebody else's touch of somebody else. There's a bit of spice from somebody. There's a bit of spice from there to make it make sense.
To make the so do you feel like it was watered down, like or do you just feel like things were stripped away? Because that's a big difference, right? Whether you feel something was like watered down or
let me not say watered down.
Yeah.
Let me say it was further shaped into what it is now.
Do you like the shape of what it is now?
Yeah, I appreciate what it is now.
Yeah. I'm trying to read in between the lines because you're being very diplomatic. No, because I think it will be interesting because there's people who probably want to write books, right?
Yeah.
And they haven't engaged that whole editor-publisher process. So I think it's really good that you're sort of like showing us behind the scenes in terms of obviously you sort of have to trust the professionals, right?
Yes.
Because they're the professionals. They're the people that do the editing, that sort of know how to sell books. So I think it's actually quite interesting that you're being really transparent about maybe just how the process made you feel, right? It doesn't mean like the outcome was a good outcome, but I think it's good that you're acknowledging that because it's your art, isn't it? It's like these are your ideas, so you feel very passionate about them. What I wanted to ask, I mean, feel free to kind of go back on this point, but you say that before you started like writing, you know, like just making notes of your ideas, there were books that you were reading that sort of seemed to maybe triggered you to want to put your thoughts down. Just out of interest, what books were you reading at the time?
Well, you read The Spirit of Now. You read Men Are From the Men Are From and then you also read 50th Law, and then you also read.
Who's that about? Who writes 50th Law?
50 Cent.
Oh,
and then you also read what else? Think Like a Man, and then you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that Steve Harvey?
Yeah, Steve Harvey.
Oh,
but it's like when you watch the movie, it's like well, it couldn't. A movie is a movie, and a book is a book.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you also read what else? There's a bunch of books I've read, and I can't remember them from the top of my head, but yeah.
Okay, and they made you think. No.
Let me. Yeah, but just to touch on for other people that are looking to write books, don't think that the initial product is going to be the end product. There's a process around it, but what's always interesting is in this case. I would say one of the issues that the editor said was the book may be perceived as a man who does not like women.
Okay.
So I had to. They said not does not like women, but along those lines where it's like you've said so much that you sound like somebody who's. I'm Andrew, and this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm not gonna have any woman tell me nothing, or that sort of line of thought. Interestingly, somebody read the book and they said this book would be ideal for a girl child.
Out of interest, was it a man or a woman?
It was a woman.
Okay.
So it's not that it's wild, but it's you know, people translate text however they translate and how they reason, and it becomes interesting to see the reception of people about your thoughts. And
does that make you feel I don't know if vulnerable is the right word. I'm kind of failing to find a word. Does it make you feel exposed? Like when you've got your ideas, right? And then like people are coming with different things. How does it make you feel? Because, it's your idea, right?
Yeah.
So what's your reaction, I guess, to people's reactions?
It's what happens is that people's emotions are evoked because
Okay.
people read something and feel a certain way, but because you don't know Andrew,
Okay.
you're gonna read it and think, this guy is talking real stuff. But then,
Yeah.
if you know Andrew,
Mm-hmm.
or you've got a relationship with Andrew,
you
might think, no, hold on, like, who does he think he is? Like, how can he say this? Or you know what I mean? So it's some of these ideas, we have them in the head, and once you put them out there, you it's not safe to look for the truth, and you'll not get a favorable response when you put out something that is relatively true.
Oh, that's interesting. So you say it's not safe to look for the truth.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You'll be told the truth that will upset you. You'll be told the truth that will make you feel some negative type of way.
Yeah.
But it's how you swallow it. And it becomes a whole situation when you go looking, if you say something that you think is relatively true, the response from somebody who feels a certain way may make you feel upset.
Okay. No, that
or it could break the relationship. It depends on how people take things, because people tend to lean towards how they feel than how they think, because it's easier to go with how you feel than thinking.
But I guess people are shaped by their experiences, their backgrounds, their environments, and that kind of shapes, I guess, where they land on certain things, right? So I think it's interesting to me that because obviously you're coming from it from this is the truth, right? But sometimes things can be nuanced, but maybe let's get into the book, right? Let's get into like the themes of the book, because you touch on identity, you touch on relationships. I think one thing that I really, really liked, so like on identity, and this may seem like a basic thing, right? I mean, you've already like alluded and talked about it, but you were like, I'm a married man, full stop, right? And I was like, wow. And again, this may seem like a basic thing, but because we do live in a world where sometimes some men, usually men, don't lead with that. Not that they don't, they just may not mention it, right? So sometimes it can feel a bit radical when someone is like, yeah, this is who I am, like this is my identity. Because usually like women lead with, because they're proud, like you probably will have a conversation with the woman, and if they are married or if they've got children, like you probably will know by the end of a meaningful conversation with them, right? Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. And obviously you've talked about how supportive your wife has been with the process, and obviously the impact that it's had like on everyone. So I was just interested in terms of like what has been her sort of like response to you, or her feedback, like when she's read the book. Like what has been her response to the book?
Interesting, love. She hasn't read the book.
Has she not?
Nah.
Okay.
I think the plan is then to, once it gets to be an audio book.
Okay.
She's someone who gets the earphones in, and so I think she's read part of it, but we've not really had a conversation to say, oh, what do you think? Why? What made you say that? Or we've not really had that conversation.
Okay.
But I'm I'm waiting for her to initiate that conversation because I've wrote the book. I know what's inside, so I didn't really say okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But then, this is the thing. Having said I'm a married man, it means some of what I've written. This is my assumption.
Okay. Yeah.
Some of what I've written may come across as if it's coming from experience.
Okay.
So the worry is what is really the experience that is in the book that I'm going to read about. So I, as the author's wife, would be wondering what am I going to meet?
Oh, okay.
And so it's maybe it's not a thing where I have to push her to read it, or it's just wait for her to read it herself. So
do you worry that maybe like I guess moving away like from your family, but do you worry that someone reading this may? Do you think that they I'm trying to find the words that people may not be able to delineate between something that you know and have experienced versus a view that you may have based on assumption that it's not like a first-hand experience? Do you? Because I think when I was reading this, to me, I think it was clear like where you were making assumptions. So it's interesting when you sort of say like, you know, someone may read this and think, oh, you know, are you talking from first-hand experience? Because I think it was clear. But do you worry about that someone may read and think, you know, what experience do you have about this?
Well, it's my concern is there's some of the stuff in there that someone would think, hold on, I didn't think you thought like that.
Oh, okay.
And then
do you have any example that you're comfortable sort of sharing, or
one, to be precise, is the idea that God is a supreme conscious.
Okay.
Then if you read along those lines, I sort of drive the reader to sort of have this idea that God could actually be you.
Okay.
No, well, let's play around that idea. Maybe we could come up with someone who's got a better way of thinking around it, because it's like if he is in you, he's around you. I'm sure sometimes you've had a conversation with yourself and you've answered yourself. Who were you talking to? Could that not be the supreme conscious?
Okay.
And if that supreme conscious is in you, then you are that.
Okay.
So I have this thing where we may be worried about death so much.
Yeah.
That we fail to become ourselves while we are here.
Right.
Okay. What if you are?
Right.
You know, so I was worried how that would be perceived, because, you know, as a Roman Catholic child, Hail Mary, full of grace, and, you know, Trinity.
The Lord is with you. Blessed you among women, and blessed is. I went to a Catholic primary school, so I still remember.
So with that in mind, it's like, hey, you're supposed to, you know, you can't be questioning things that have been put in line that have worked over the years, and like, if you are going to be thinking like this, you're probably going to hell.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start there, right? Because what I wanted to do is like just touch on some of the themes that you talk about in your book, right? I think I mentioned like identity, religion. So you've already started with religion, right? So and you know, that's really interesting. So you talk about being raised as a Roman Catholic. Are you still practicing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roman Catholic.
Yeah. So how much of that so when you say you worry, are you specifically worried about maybe your family and friends like within the congregation who may read that and
It's like I worry on the like if any of the people who I couldn't even, like, I had the 100 books.
Okay, yeah.
And they were in my boot.
Yeah.
And I remember being at church and thinking, should I give any of these guys? And I was thinking, nah. these guys will look at me like, this guy here.
Yeah.
So it's like a situation where religion wise, it's like I born and raised in our Catholic, and it's, I think I would rather gamble with the unknown, than you know, live life. Who knows? You can still they say you can still ask for forgiveness before you die. I mean, and you know, so it's but continue to live life and still try to understand what is there, and then whatever happens after, then it is what it is. It's not something you can control.
Yeah. So how has your relationship with faith changed over the years? Do you think it has changed?
To be honest with you, is from I still go to church every Sunday.
Okay.
Catholic.
Yeah.
And I still pray. And but I have conversations with myself.
Okay.
And having had those conversations with myself, I still question certain things.
Right.
I still listen to what other people say, and I submerge those ideas into what I end up with. Yeah.
Okay, so I think one of the things that is so it's interesting that, you know, you're sort of having these thoughts about, you know, I have this view that, you know, I don't know if my church family would be open to it, but I know, like, for a lot of communities, especially even African communities, you know, church plays such a big role, like, in community. Right, whether whatever event, you know, is happening, whether it's a joyful one or whether it's a loss, you know, church is usually like that solid community that, you know, usually are the first to stand up. So I'm just interested in I guess how you have experienced that, right?
Yeah.
The community aspect that the church provides, and if maybe that's also part of the reason why you're like, you know, this is me. Like I've got these thoughts, you know, that are here, but I think, you know, like you said, this is me till the day I die. Like the role that that church has played in your community.
I think church brings order, and you'd rather have people in order than chaos. So that's a plus for the church. I don't know if people were able to question, if people were given a platform to question and question certain things, and you know, I'd rather keep you in a straight line than to have you thinking in all directions.
Okay.
Because you never know what you'll be influenced with. So with the idea of church, it's passing these ideas onto a platform where it drives direction to how things are handled in terms of, say, community. Say, okay, considering you are part of this crew, this is what we do. When people are sick, we go and pray for them. Sometimes being prayed for actually placebo effect, and sometimes being prayed for gives confidence to somebody who's in a state. Sometimes having people come through to at the times of when in the bad times, it gives you a sense of community, and the idea of community itself is a plus, because we cannot do all by ourselves.
Of course.
So if you have people who are calm and have order, and they're dressed in a certain way, they've got their uniform, their berets, and they come to your house and say, we heard that you are not well, and we heard that you lost your husband, or you lost and we just came to support you in this time of need. Yeah, it's a good idea, and it works to your advantage as well. And but it's not what I'm saying is we cannot not. It's not like we don't have it in a different structure. Okay, outside of church. Yes. Yeah. Okay. But I think that itself helps. Yeah. Because you naturally have people that are coming around a certain idea, right? Yes. And then these are some of the byproducts and the benefits of, people coming around that idea. Okay. And then we started touching on the identity piece, right? Where you talk about identity. One of the things that when I was reading that, I was thinking, okay, I wanted to kind of get your view on just, I guess, the effect of environment on identity, right? Because when you talked at the top, you talked about, that you grew up in Zimbabwe, then you've come here, right? So I'm always sort of interested in sort of like just some of the nuances that us as immigrants face, and how that may shape our identity in ways that we may not even sort of maybe realize that, it's because I live in this specific place. I live in the UK, so my identity has sort of been shaped in a different way, or there's parts of my identity that have been chipped away in a way that maybe if I had remained in Zim or wherever your home country is, right? In ways. So I was just kind of interested in that, because when I was reading, I was like, okay, the environment impact. Well, what your thoughts are on? Because I was like, I think that's another thing that could be added to that identity piece. Yeah, I think first and foremost, I realized in primary school, I went to REPS. Okay. Which was Cecil John Rhodes. And
Mr. Pechile was your headmaster?
Yeah.
I went to... I remember I should say, but yeah, I went to... Yeah.
So, having gone there, and then come here, you realize the connection between how I was influenced to sort of be like the person who's here in a way, because you realize certain things, like we had to wake up at 5 a.m, or all those different things, and then you come here, you realize even what is equivalent to that is someone who is coming from upper class. Yeah. But what happens?
Okay, no,
yes, yeah. What happens is that when people come into England or wherever they are immigrating to, they are sort of most of the migrants are economic migrants. Yes. And you are sort of cornered into being a worker. So you become working class, and the working class of Britain lives in circumstances where a lot of things are compromised. And when we think we are assimilating into the British culture, we are not actually assimilating into the British culture.
Okay, I'm interested. Expand on that.
We are assimilating into a culture that is working class people that have come together from different places.
Yeah.
You know, the actual English British culture is hello. Let's sit at the table and let's have
okay.
You know. But what you assimilate into is, hey, bruv, what you saying? Hey,
okay.
You know what I mean? And it's that sort of thing where our identity is then shaped into what we think is the British culture. And then, but it's something that eventually became something, but was not initially there, I assume. And then what we forget is that you can be Andrew Mthunzi in England, London. You can be Andrew Mthunzi who knows how to milk a goat, because the people here are actually wanting to know what your people do. Right. And if you notice a lot of things, what I've realized is that when kids come here, they're sort of caught in the web of the idea of the British culture. But once they start working, they start meeting other economic migrants who then ask you, what's your name? Then you say, my name is Andrew. Yeah. Your surname. And you say your surname is Mthunzi. Yeah. It's like, how? There's that confusion either whether you're from South Africa or you're from Zimbabwe. Okay. But ultimately, you're cornered to... you can't say you're Mthunzi and then you claim to be English, or you know what I mean?
Okay, I get what
you have to know where you're from. You know what those people did. And then now, when you're working, you're cornered to start to what do my people do? If you notice well, is that kids between the born and 12, the mom is taking them to Africa or whatever. Okay. But then from there, they just start to go into Malaga. They're going to all these different places. But when they start working, they start visiting their home countries, find out what do my people do, and then they realize that, oh my God, I've been missing all this stuff for the time, because I suppose when you're a teenager, that's when you start to see what's going on. Yeah. But then those are the times when you are not inclined with back home.
You want to go back home, yeah.
But then it's only later then you start to, do you know what? Yeah. Maybe let me start. Then you start hearing people, I've got a farm back home, I've got 12 goats and I've got all this. And it's like, huh? When did this happen? You know? So it becomes interesting. Then you have people who start to, I'm working towards retiring back at home, and that sort of lifestyle, and it's it's interesting.
No, I think you've touched on a very, very interesting topic that I've always wanted to explore. Hopefully I will at some point, but I hopefully you may indulge me, because you brought it in, because I think what you're touching on, right, is some of the experiences that we had back home. Obviously there's the colonial aspect, right? Yeah. That a lot of the things that we learned, like in these different schools, even like the idea of having supper, you know, like those came from, I guess, would be middle, upper class, whatever, like the higher of society here, right? Which we then did at home. And that then when you come here, because you probably don't really have the means, you're starting from scratch, you're working, because I've always not struggled with that. I mean, I really don't care about the class system here, but I know it's important, right? It exists and it's a thing, right? Yes. But I've always felt like for some migrants, there just isn't a neat way to put them, like, because you can put them in like working class because of means and maybe because of the jobs that they're doing, like when they come here initially, right? But actually some of their interests, you know, the idea of like sitting around the table, or they like rugby, they like cricket, you know, they like some of these things that are not like working class fees. So I've always thought it's very interesting, but you've explained it in a way to me that I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Because I guess the colonial nature meant that it's a lot of the more middle class, higher. It's very, very interesting to me.
Yeah, because you find yourself you want to go play golf, but you're working 8 to 8.
Of course, yeah.
What time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an economic migrant, you are living two lives because you've left people back home and you are here trying to establish yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of forgo certain things to sustain. And that leaves you in a position where it could be vulnerable, and you sort of become somebody else, or you are compromised.
Yeah.
And there's been instances where, a few cases that I know of, people who've said, you know what, I'm packing my bags and I'm going back.
Right. Yeah.
So it's the nature of the beast.
No. I think that's a very interesting. And you've just explained it to me in a way that sort of makes sense, and I'll definitely like be exploring it a little bit more, and then maybe moving on to we sort of touched on religion, we touched on the identity piece, finances. Right, so you talk about finances, and I'm just interested in sort of like what has kind of shaped your view in terms of like, I guess, finance, wealth building, and that sort of thing.
Finances are a major issue in different spaces.
Yes.
Not all of us are disciplined to hold onto money. And many times we are influenced by who we are when it comes to money. So if somebody who's generous gets money, they're bound to give.
Yeah.
And someone who's stingy with money, once they get rich, they're probably just gonna play power of broke. So also, it's another thing that people have overlooked and maybe never realized is that the issue is never about money. The issue is about handling money. And so you find that in a relationship, so for instance, boy or girl, the issue is not the money. We both know that with £10, we can go to McDonald's and have a meal and create a memory out of that situation. Going forward, instead of that, we know that me and you, the budget is £10. But wanting more, knowing we get less, becomes the problem.
Right.
And another thing that affects us is sometimes the man decides to, I want to flex on her, but cannot keep it consistent.
Right, okay.
Then we have a problem.
Yeah. Because
now you've put me in Nando's instead of McDonald's. You need to keep up. You know, otherwise John is gonna come around and give me Nando's.
Right.
We'll have a problem.
Yeah.
And also, don't ever find yourself borrowing from John to pay Peter, because that becomes a vicious cycle that will leave you broke for a long time.
Yeah.
Don't ever borrow money to pay somebody else, I would rather borrow money to invest, and that money pays itself.
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So those are the ideas that I have concerning money.
Yeah. Do you feel because in a lot of like the themes I think we were speaking before, like I think what came up to me was very much like, you know, like you've got very strong views in terms of particularly like the role of a man, right? So like especially when we talk about finances, and obviously the example that you gave in terms of like maintaining, like do you feel like maybe, especially if we go the whole like men versus women, whatever, like that's putting pressure, like financial pressure, like especially on men, especially if there's a view of like, okay, you have to be the provider, you know, you have to have the means, you have to have the money. In the world that we're living in now, you know, where things are genuinely really difficult, you know.
Yeah, what tends to happen is that we are wired in such a way that we are providers. That's the psychological effect that we've had from back then. And a man must. Once you don't have money, women will always feel insecure with your leadership, because you are supposed to be stewardship. You're supposed to be leading in a way that you're there to provide, yes, protect, and sometimes protection simply means that the rain is outside. There's rain, and while there's rain, I need an umbrella.
Yeah.
Can you protect me from the rain by buying me a £5 umbrella?
Yeah.
Can you protect me from all these different things by so to say, it's not entirely providing financially. Also, it's also providing ideas to gain that finance, or it's also providing space that helps someone to providing resources, a network to help gain that finance. So let's not limit ourselves on the man being a provider to just bring in the cash home. So you find that in as much as looking at the modern setup, you can be the babysitter at home while providing a network of how mom's money can enable us to get more money. I can, be the one who looks after the kids while I'm providing ideas on how mom's money can make more money for the family. I can do the same thing while I'm actually providing, transport to do certain things that will enable us to get money. But what then we overlook is the discussion between men and women to clear things out, because many a times you'll find that because I'm bringing the money, then I so believe that whatever comes out is 100% mine, overlooking that that money was multiplied with addition of the driver, with addition of the idea, with addition of all those other things.
Yeah.
So there comes a point where people need to have these unhealthy conversations, uncomfortable conversations, because once there's discomfort, we'll have uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, I mean, discomfort, then there's growth. So I'm happy that you kind of expanded your definition of what providing looks like. Because I do think I can only imagine the pressure that's put on the idea of masculinity with financial success, right?
Yeah.
And then that leads to other things, right? Then which are unspoken in terms of, men reporting poor mental health, and stuff like that. Because sometimes there's just that narrative and that pressure, which maybe is reality, but sometimes the world that we're living in is a very tough world, where like it's hard to get employed, people are underemployed, people haven't had raises in a very long time. So it's a very sort of like interesting sort of subject. I guess another thing that I wanted to maybe moving on just from that, right? Was there anything that you wanted to say on the finance bit?
Nah, you can, just go on and
okay. So you also like it was interesting that you included your love for poetry.
Yeah.
Because I'm reading this book and I'm like, oh, this is a very like traditional man. There's sprinklings of the man must do this, and then here's this like seemingly softest. I mean, there's nothing soft about poetry, but obviously people kind of view it in that way. I thought that was interesting. So I guess maybe if you can talk, because you said you pulled those from the archives, How long have you been writing poetry? Do you still write poetry?
Well, it's because at some point when I was in college, I was in the radio. I was responsible for the radio.
Okay.
So what then happened was we would come in as boys. And, spit a few bars and
okay.
So
well, like rapping. Really?
And then
you know what I'm about to ask. You've just made it so easy. Like
so as a young kid, you are saying all that nonsense that you're saying because you're emulating the big guys, and then you think, this is what that you can't eventually be, but during this time and phase in my life, I want to do what as much as I can do, and at some point I'm not gonna let go of it.
Yeah.
And then the idea then becomes, what's the most safest thing that I can do?
Yeah.
Because we lived under those could say the stick. So the conversation was, don't find yourself in the streets because I'll take you back home. And so with that, you think to yourself that I can't find myself actually pursuing this whole rap, because I might find myself having to go to rap battles. I might end up finding myself having to say what you leave, and then what you leave is supposed to be glamorous, but it's not. And then so you think to yourself, you know what, let me just channel this into poetry. And then once I did that, sort of think of ideas and put them into something that maybe eventually became something.
Right.
And so with that poetry, it's like, okay, I've got this idea. I've just broken up with someone.
Okay.
And it's Valentine's. Like I've just missed the boss, and just had the adults talking about somebody who's got kids back home and they're here, and all these ideas that you come around and then you try to make them up to a narrative that makes sense. And with that, you come up with these different poets. And so in the book, what I tried to do was to select a poem from for each chapter.
Okay.
So I think if you look closely, I think there's one that talks about Ubuntu, me being me, or something like that. That falls under identity.
Right.
And then there's another one that talks about relationships, and then there's another one that talks about religion. So to sort of and then there's another one that try to make it suitable for society versus reality. Then so
okay. I'm reading by Miranda. I won't repeat what I was. Okay, interesting. No, this has been interesting. Like I said at the top, like I read this and it sounded like, Andrew's personal manifesto, like, your thoughts. And I think it's always interesting, sort of like seeing people's ideas. And I know you kind of alluded to, some of the reactions that you've had, and with any idea, some will be challenged, some will be welcome. And I like the fact that you I've never seen this in a book where you're like, contact me, this is my email address. So I'm like, are you really ready for people to contact you?
No, do you know what it is? I think what it was I didn't have that idea initially, but I think the publishers were saying, how will people contact you if they want to book you for anything? I was like, if they are interested. So it's like, okay, just put that at the end or whatsoever. Which was interesting because I got a group in Amsterdam saying how they liked the book and so would like to discuss it and blah 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 and all that. And I've got a few emails about how people appreciate the book and how if anything, communicate and then maybe whatsoever, that line of thought. So it's like, okay, I suppose it was to my advantage.
I think there's definitely an audience that you speak to. I think what would be interesting is as you kind of have these conversations, right? Because I think it's one thing to have an idea, it's a bold, bold space to be in, to be like, let me put my idea down. And then I think once you sort of have more conversations, I think it'll be interesting to speak to you like 3-5 years from now. I really, because that's one of the questions I was like, I really would be interested in if there was a way, like if I could book you 10 years like from now to come back and be like, what like what has changed?
What has changed?
And basically where you are, because obviously I was saying at the top that there's some things that I was like, oh, okay, I don't think this one is for me entirely. But I'm always fascinated by people that can just step out of the normal day to day and be like, this is what I'm gonna do, but we're going to finish, but before I do, like, is there anything else that we haven't touched on, that we haven't said, that you would like to?
This is my question to you.
Yes.
What did you read and connect with from from the content?
I think I liked your reflectiveness, right? So, like at the beginning, when you're talking about identity and you're talking about, your mother and your father, and you're saying, because I hope I'm not being disrespectful, because when you say that, like, your father, I guess he goes by Mapalani, and then your mom is Slobile, right? And you're kind of sort of saying, and for those who don't know, those Mapalani is like a writer, right? Yeah. Like literally, right? Slobile means we've written. And I like the fact that you're like, it was written in the stars, that one I should be. So I like the reflect, because I always like people that know where they are from, and sort of have that sense of, understanding that, I didn't just like become, like there's a whole story about me, right? That was already there before. So I like that. And obviously I mentioned that I went to a Catholic primary school, so I kind of related with parts of that. So yeah.
So it's also, when you mentioned that, it's sometimes we our purpose is, I strongly believe that our purpose is written somewhere that is around you, that you are, that once you figure it out, then you know, because once you align with your purpose, you find that sometimes it's not entirely in terms of the magnitude of the returns of whatever happens, but I think it's what you have been put here to do. So, for instance, once I discovered that, because the narrative behind being Mapalani was because he was the guy with the Ediba, when the when the cows come, he's the one who's writing.
Right.
And then he became Mapalani. So and then can't remember where Slobile came from, but it makes sense. So it's like when you figure out those things, it's like then you realize that my mom is a nurse, retired sort of, and then my dad was a clerk. And then what happened was I was a support worker at one point.
Right.
And then I became administrator. So if you, I don't know if it makes sense.
No,
but
it does. Yeah.
So it's like, well, there's growth ultimately, but these two sort of come together from both these people, and then this is who I am. And sometimes, it falls into place.
The fact that like it's almost like there's a backdrop that you can see, and as you're tracing and going through your own journey of life, it's kind of like you can see mirrors of like, oh, okay, like this is how this is kind of like translating in my own life. And I think that's really powerful, because you know it then goes beyond, but I thank you so much for your time. Like I said, I'll be following and I'll be interested to see
how it grows,
to see what like how you continue having these conversations and stuff like that. And where can people find you? Where can people find the book?
Well, just Google me, Andrew Mthunzi.
Just Google me. Do you have any social media or anything?
Andrew Mthunzi.
Okay, are you on all social media?
All social media, but my Andrew, because I think there's another Andrew Mthunzi somewhere.
Right.
So mine has an E at the end, like Andrew Mthunzi, ZIE.
Okay. That's fine. So you send me the link, and now I can put that in the more information section. Like we'll put a link to your social media. And in terms of the book, where can people get the book?
I suppose Amazon is the first and foremost, and then just Google it and you find it.
Okay, just Google. So guys, let's have a conversation with Andrew Mthunzi. And I think Andrew really just wants to have a conversation, right? So get the book, get in touch with him. He's put the details in the book, his own details in the book, so that you can have conversation. And let's
grow together and let's audit ourselves, and become better people and create a better world. Change starts by you. So you cannot point blame and say whoever did this, what are you doing about it?
No, thank you. Well said. Okay, so thank you guys. You've been listening to me, Natasha, Chat with Nat. Thank you guys. Bye. Thank you.